That's the cloud. We're just going to go ahead, and if Facebook streaming joins us, we'll go for it. So take it away, Greg, and then we'll go from there.
All right. Welcome, everybody. Monday, Meet the Masters or Mastermind Monday, whichever flavor you prefer. November 17th already. Cannot believe we're into November, and we will jump right into our presentation for today. We'll respect time, and it'll be 30 minutes here, and let's just get going. We have Michelle Hagstrom on an airplane right now, our current president. She's on her way back from NAR National. I am Greg Hanner. I am your president for 2020 for New England Region of Residential Real Estate Council. And the leadership team, here we are for our 2025 team. On the call, we have Christine. There's Christine. And Christine is our operations manager for 2026. And I'd like to say that today's presentation is thanks to our strategic partners who help us with our events and education throughout the year. Strategic partners, platinum is Annie Mack. Gold is today's guest and speaker, Coast to Coast Closings. We've got Gaffney Law, Cross Country Mortgage, Leader Bank, MLS PIN, Clark Hill Inspections, Rocket Mortgage, Satira Law, G-Bar, and Paul at Skyburst Wealth Management. Thank you to all of our strategic partners. This was a shot from last Thursday. We actually had a little RRC meetup before the installation, and it was a great event, a lot of education, and I will share that my pinning was special to me because I was able to attend some leadership training to hopefully help our volunteer team in 26 so that we also can all help our RRC family in the year to come. And if you'd like to attend, the leadership team installation is coming up December 4th. Registration is available on the QR code right there. We'll share that link in the Facebook and YouTube. But that is Thursday, December 4th, 11:30 to 2 down in Connecticut. Hope you can make it. 26 team will be installed at that point in time. And there's an initiative that I've got going right now that I'd like to spotlight. This doesn't cost anything. This is to help. I'm asking you to help your neighbors. 6 states, we should be able to, with 800 RRC members, easily hit this goal of 100 pints of blood being given by December 31st. The way it works is it is a sleeves up Red Cross campaign. What that means, sleeves up, is you pledge and then you give locally. You don't have to drive to my hometown in Waterford, Connecticut. You could give in Maine, New Hampshire, Vermont, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, or Connecticut. So sleeves up campaign. Let's try to hit this goal. We are the best of the best, and let's show that we can do it. And I'd like to jump into presenting our guest for today's Meet the Masters in Mastermind Monday. Nicole, you have one of the longest names, Nicole Choate-DeRosa. That's a mouthful. Nicole has a really diverse background. She is not only an attorney, but she's also a title company in the title states. And Nicole has a passion for serving women entrepreneurs and also does a lot of volunteering. So, Nicole, I'm going to get out of your way and let you switch over to your slide deck. And let's jump into today's conversation.
All right. Hello. Let me see if I can share. Can we see that?
Yep.
Yeah, we got it. And if you
All right.
right into your full present. Hit that top right
Okay.
present button.
Top right present. I'm
Right next
good.
to share. See it right next to share on the
Let me
right, top
see.
right.
Oh,
Then you
share. Oh, present. There we
yeah,
go. There.
yeah, and then you'll be able to go just hit your space bar to roll through it.
Okay. How's that? How'd I do?
Great job.
Thanks, Greg. Well, as Greg said, I am Nicole Choate-DeRosa. I am going to be focusing on this huge new rule that Massachusetts just hit us with starting November 1st. I know we have agents from all over New England, but I do know a lot of people, agents do sell in Massachusetts. So I felt that this was a huge topic right now. And I formed it more for what agents need to know and how to help prepare your clients, sellers and buyers. So it's called the 1 million Massachusetts property rule. And as I said, it's effective November 1st. Massachusetts gave no leeway. It went right into effect November 1st. So if you have a property for $1 million or more, the settlement agent has to file a withholding return with the state. Even if there is no tax due, the return must still be filed. And I do think we are going to get that a lot from our sellers stating, well, I don't owe it or I'm exempt. It doesn't matter. This form still needs to be filed by the closing or the settlement agent at the closing or 10 days after the closing, actually. So this will apply to all properties in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. So it's single family homes, 2-family homes, condos, all of that. And why we think it matters is that every high value sale now includes an extra step at closing. And of course, it's new, so it's scary and it's going to be frustrating. And I love the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, but sometimes things aren't very easy with them. So they do have sites that we can go to, or agents or the sellers can go to ask questions. But the biggest thing is, and this is why we think that if you know the rule and you prepare your sellers up front, if the purchase price is $1 million or more, the closing could be delayed. So that's why we're just trying to get it out in front of everyone as soon as possible. So your clients may owe the state taxes at the closing. Now, we have gotten a couple of sellers stating, yeah, I do that, but I do it on my tax returns. Well, Commonwealth of Mass is saying, nope, you're getting your proceeds. We want the taxes on it. So we have to do it at the time of closing. And we are the ones or the settlement agent, the closing attorney is the one who files the return. You as the agents, you do not file it, but as we say, you should make sure that your seller or your seller's attorney know about the rule. And it's just, I don't know if people have checklists or, tasks or what do they need to do, but it should ring in your bell, ring in your head if it's $1 million or more that this needs to go in and you need to check in with the attorney. The rule kicks in when I said the property's in Massachusetts, the sale price is $1 million or more, not the loan amount, the sales price. And this includes cash loans or anything that the buyer is buying, the seller is selling. And then, as I had stated a few times, it went into effect November 1st, 2025. So any closings November 1st or after, it is applying for. And just briefly how it works is the seller fills out this transfers certification form, and the closing attorney files the return and sends any required payment to the DOR within 10 days of closing online. And we need to upload the ALTA or the HUD for Mass DOR, and everything needs to go online. They do not want anything mailed to them. The other thing that we are telling our agents and the sellers is get their accountant involved from the get-go. So if they're saying, oh, well, it's $1 million, but I owe this, 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 and this, I don't think I'm going to have to owe, that's great. They're filling out the form, they're signing it. You're, as an agent, you're not responsible for the information they're putting on it. We're not responsible for it, but we do say, you know what, we're not accountants. Get your accountant involved right away to help with this form. And then, of course, the seller will get a copy. If the seller is a Massachusetts resident, there's usually not going to be a withholding, but as I had stated, the filing still has to happen, and there are some little rules or whatever that may or may not come with if it's a Massachusetts resident. So again, we're not the one to judge that, it's Mass DOR. The DOR may require money to be withheld at the closing. The seller lives out of state, or the seller is a business entity and not based in Massachusetts. So the standard withholding that we are supposed to be taking is 4% of the sales price, but they have to fill out that form. And there's, of course, other items that could be put in there, and it could be higher than 4%. So again, if it were me, I would get an accountant involved right away. And this is some exemptions that we have seen. No tax money is usually held back if the seller is a full year Mass resident, meaning before they, so if they go to sell it on, I don't know, February, they're not considered a full year Mass resident. So, and if they're part of a 1031 exchange, and also if it's anything between spouses or family or a divorce situation, this could be an exemption. But again, the return will still be filed. So we just put a little list together of what you as agents could do, and of course, flag that $1 million or more listing early on. Remind the sellers that there's going to be extra paperwork, and get your accountant involved as needed. Tell the closing attorney upfront so they can prepare. And please just, even if your sellers are like, no, tell me, am I going to owe taxes? This isn't it's not your job. Again, get your CPA or attorney or tax accountant or somebody involved. So we just did a quick example. Sale price 1.2, seller moved to Florida, is not a resident of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. So the closing attorney must file and send 4% to Mass DOR, and the seller will get credit for it on their Mass tax return later. So they're not going to be taxed again if everything is done correctly at the closing. Add this to your listing checklist. That's what I said. If people have checklists, I would just add it on. You just mentioned the DOR filing rule. There's a seller handout explaining the new rule. You can partner with us or anybody who knows the process. We could get you flyers or handout, or just go over what we know of the rules so far. And then I would always just set the expectations early, just because, obviously surprises will kill deals. So like I said, the rule isn't scary. It's just new. It applies to the 1 million plus sales. The closing attorney will file it, not the seller. The agents just need to flag it early, and you might not have a withhold, and sellers may have a withholding if you are not a Mass resident. So that is the $1 million rule that everyone in Massachusetts is talking about right now. But I also know we have a lot of other agents, not just in the Commonwealth of Mass. So if I have a little bit of time, if you're okay with it, I was going to touch upon the FinCEN. Another good one. So we have, what is FinCEN? FinCEN is the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network. That sounds woo. And that's the branch of the U.S. Treasury. And what their job is to do is to track money laundering and fraud in big financial transactions, actually any financial transactions. Real estate has become a target for hidden cash deals. So FinCEN is requiring more transparency about who really owns, if the buyer is an entity or a trust on that. So this one is going to go into effect March 1st, 2026. Certain people at closing, and it's usually going to be the settlement or the title agent, must report the details of some real estate sales to FinCEN. It's going to apply to residential properties, condos, co-ops, land, single family, two family, and it applies when the property is bought without a bank loan, cash, private financing, seller financing. And it applies when the buyer is an LLC, a corp, a partnership, or a trust. So they are starting to learn that certain corporations or partnerships and in certain counties are definitely, they're seeing an uptick on money laundering. So why was this created? As I was saying, criminals are buying homes with cash, and they're creating LLCs or corporations or trusts to hide the money. So there was no paper trail. They were smart, and we couldn't really see who the real owner was. And then this just helps FinCEN see who's really behind, and we have to report it. And it's like I said before, it's not just in like Miami, New York City, Los Angeles. I know that Middlesex County in Massachusetts is one of the hot markets. So if you are in a hot market, don't be surprised if you hear the closing attorney or your title agent talking about FinCEN. So what we need to do for the closing is we report the buyer's name and social security or identification of the tax ID number. And we need to provide the entity name and trust details, and who owns, if it's 25% or more, controlling the corporation or LLC, the property address, and the sale amount. And then this is reported directly to FinCEN within 30 days of closing. So the nice thing of what we have is we have a FinCEN in our conveyancing software, which is Qualia. So we can actually check to see, to make sure that if it's one of the properties or an owner that is being flagged. So we don't have to file the report, but we do need to help spot triggering transactions. That's what for agents. And if the deal is all cash, if the buyer's an LLC, a trust, or a corporation, and if it's a residential property. So if any of those three, or if those three apply, flag it and just let the closing attorney know, hey, I watched this great attorney on RRC, and she had stated that I should probably just warn you, or, maybe make you aware. I don't know if this is a FinCEN reportable deal.
Does it also apply to trusts?
Trusts, yes.
So if it's a living trust, it would fall under that, right?
But that
Yes.
but only for the buy side, not the sell side,
Yes.
right?
Buy
Okay.
side. Yeah, for buyers. Yeah. So we just said, let the clients know that this rule is federal. It's not local. It's not that the buyer is doing anything wrong. It's just that, of course, they need to make sure that full transparency. And then the buyer just may have to show some ownership info or extra information that they weren't sure if they were going to have to or not with the closing attorney or title agent. And it shouldn't delay the closing if we handle it early on and just plan for it. And that is it on my slide, I believe. Yes.
Oh, so that's great. So that actually brings us to Q&A here. And I do have a couple of questions if you want to stop the share for a sec.
Stop share.
Yeah, so that FinCEN is all 6 of our New England states, right? So that affects all.
Yes.
Whole country.
Okay. And the new Massachusetts rule That seems a lot like here in Connecticut, they've got the smoke detector affidavit. That's a form that you as attorneys deal with, not us as agents in Connecticut.
Oh, that's funny. We do, here we do.
Yeah, no, it's an attorney thing. So that 10-day rule is you have to file that within 10 days of closing.
Correct. And they're giving a 30-day grace period, but after that, the title agents or closing attorneys will be fined by
Okay.
Mass DOR if they're not filed in time.
So that
We will be fined.
That 4% figure, is it no matter what? Like, can a seller get ahead of this in terms of working with their accountant? And if they're able to show document, it sounds like 4% is the dollar amount set aside, and then the tax due would be taken out of that, correct?
Correct. So it could be, again, not an accountant. So it could be, okay, let's say it's $1.2 million, but the accountant says, but you can take this off, take this off, take this off, take this off. So that final number is that 4% of that number that we have to report.
And what is the basis of it? Like, for example, in Connecticut, we've got 1% conveyance tax between state and town, and except for 18, actually it's 14 different towns have an extra quarter. So what is the actual tax? Do you know that number, Nicole? Is it based on net in terms of a profit component?
Oh, on it.
Like cap
yeah. So I
gains?
think they do the sale price and then they do whatever they need to minus. I can see, I don't know if I can pull up the form so we can see it, but.
Right. Well, you said they need the Alta anyway, so they're going to see the net
Right.
in the reporting.
Mm-hmm.
But
yes.
but that net that you're seeing, that's net proceeds. That's not necessarily a profit figure. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So what's kind of good is I'm not from Mass, so I know nothing about Mass practices. So I'm thinking, you know what? You could take me and put me in the seat of a Mass seller because I know nothing, right? And if your sellers in Mass are now hearing that on $1 million, 40,000 of it's going to get set aside, what if they don't even have 40?
Potentially, only if they live out of state.
Correct. So like this form that we have here, I can share it. I can just
Sure.
I don't know.
Because it's
Can I
only
share
for they have to file the document anyways, but it's only for out of state residents or corporations.
Right. So a full year Massachusetts resident is exempt.
Right. So if I sold my house for $1 million and moved to another town in Massachusetts, I don't have to file the document gets filed, but no taxes are due at closing.
Correct.
Okay. So, but that person in Florida doing 6 months in a day, Florida resident, what if they don't have 40,000? I'm saying,
what if they don't have proceeds of 40,000?
4%. Yeah. What if they don't?
Mass doesn't want it to be in a hardship, but they'll take whatever the bottom line is.
Right.
Got it.
Because if their proceeds are less than 40 grand, they're not going to owe the 40 grand.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
But what if they're
so like this one we have, it's a $1.2 million sale. And they are exempt because they're Massachusetts residents, but they put on their form that the portion of their gross sales price will be $687,500. So it must be minusing. I don't see the other part of it.
Mortgage and
mortgages,
things,
right? Commissions, all of that. Yes.
And what if they live in Massachusetts, sold their house, but are on their way out of Massachusetts?
So we did hear
I live here now. Next week I go.
Yes, that they are supposed to state that they will still be in Massachusetts after the sale, but we don't know if that's an hour, a day.
Right.
So we're not sure of.
I mean, short of a moving van showing up, right?
You're right.
And then my other question is, that was the one I was like, and it sounds like something that I could imagine sellers suddenly calling, just like if they're looking for the Alta after closing, right? They'll be calling and saying, hey, my accountant says I need this thing. I have no idea what this is. And I'd send them to the closing attorney because I won't have it, or their attorney.
Right, correct. Yep. Yes.
Sandy, I think you're on the call. You are muted. Do you have any questions on the topic? Okay.
And I have one more question for you, Nicole, about the FinCEN people.
Yes.
Thing. Do you see this going forward, eventually going to sellers when they're an LLC or trust? Because there's no guarantee they're doing everything right either. I understand the money laundering part on the buying, but you could easily be using real estate as the money laundering as a seller too.
Right. But you are, so it's already in that. Yeah. I don't know. They haven't done that one yet. That could
No,
be,
I know. They haven't rolled out yet.
next,
You know, I know.
That could be
It's
the next step
interesting.
of.
Well, to recap, Sandy, sorry, Nicole,
Yes.
what are the states that you cover your Mass?
We are Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Maine, Florida, and Rhode Island.
Very cool.
Okay, so you
Soon
hit
to be Connecticut.
You're gonna be soon?
Soon. We're working on it.
That sounds great. Well, I want to thank you for the presentation because it's definitely an eye opener for me. I don't practice in Mass, but our RRC members that are there, November 1st, this was already in effect. So I like the idea of updating the checklist. And I've got one more thing to share before we sign off. We do have a coupon code for the RRC celebration that is coming up. That's a fabulous event in Dallas, Texas. And if you do your early bird registration before the end of the year, you've got to use the coupon code that you see, ADV SAB 26 for 15% off. That does expire at the end of the year. So I just want to see our members save as much as possible. And I think we can wrap it up for today. Christine, what do you think?
Thank you so much, Nicole. This was great. It was really useful information.
Well, thank you for having me.
And I hope to see each of you at the installation coming up December 4th at 11:30 a.m. A nice little luncheon installation for the 2026 leadership team. And that's all for today.
All right.
Have a
Thanks,
good afternoon, folks. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Nicole.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Stopping all the record. Come on.